New chapter, here we go. The atmosphere. Go ahead and write down the atmosphere. This is your new heading. Start a new page. I believe it's chapter 12 in your book, the atmosphere. All right, go ahead and write this down. Composition. The atmosphere is made up of a mixture of solids, liquids, and gases. The atmosphere is made up of a mixture of solids, liquids, and gases. Composition is what is it composed of? What is it made up of? The gases, let's start with the gases. Why don't you write down gases and just put nitrogen and oxygen in the percentages. About 99%, I think your book says 98%, is nitrogen and oxygen. So nitrogen is about 78% of the atmosphere, and oxygen makes up about 21%. And there's about 1% left, which is basically a mixture of other things: argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor. Okay, the things I care about on a test, I might ask you, what gas is most abundant in the atmosphere, and you would say nitrogen. Or I might say, what two gases make up 99% of the atmosphere, and you'd say nitrogen and oxygen. So no nitrogen and oxygen for sure. All right, that's what I was saying. The solids in the atmosphere, I'd write this down: dust, ice, and snow. Dust, ice, and snow are going to make up the solids in the atmosphere. Oops. And then liquids. Water. Got the liquids in the atmosphere. Water. So there are solids, liquids, and gases in the atmosphere. There's also this stuff called smog, which I'd like you to write down. Smog, sulfur plus nitrogen plus oxygen. Oops. Write that down. Sulfur plus nitrogen plus oxygen equals smog. Now, what smog is it's kind of, well, it's I always think smog, smoke, fog. Okay, it's kind of a haze over somewhere that has heavy pollutants. Okay, you're gonna get sulfur from burning fossil fuels. So if you live in an area where there is tons of fossil fuels being burned, okay, like tons of cars driving, that's going to mix with the nitrogen and the oxygen in the air and create kind of a haze. Okay, in South Dakota, we do not have issues with smog because we have a low population and not that many cars, and we're spread out. Okay, if you go somewhere like Los Angeles, they have issues with smog because you have bumper-to-bumper traffic, tons and tons of people giving off tons of pollution in a small area. China is known to have some serious fog issues. Several years ago, they hosted the Olympics, and that was a big concern, was that the smog levels in China at Beijing were so high that there were athletes worried about, imagine if you're supposed to run a marathon in the Olympics and you're running through this smoky fog. It's tough on your lungs, okay, and you're not going to perform that well. So it ended up not being okay, or it ended up being okay. The smog levels during the Olympics were down, okay. But a lot of times in large cities, they'll give you like a smog report, just like they do with the weather. Talk about the air quality, and there are some times where it's really bad and other days where it's not. I'd probably write this down. I already said it, but smog comes from the burning of coal, gas, and other fossil fuels. I don't know if you'd consider this fog, but you might notice when there are forest fires out west, like Colorado and California and stuff, okay, our air usually travels from the west, our weather. So like a lot of times, like today, what's going on in out in the hills in Rapid City, normally within a few hours it's here, or maybe the next day it's here. So if it's cold here and really nice and warm out there, tomorrow it's going to be warmer for us because the air moves this way. But if like Colorado has forest fires, there are some times where we'll get kind of a hazy smog few days because that smoke is getting blown over to us. So our air quality might be down if they have big fires over there. Why don't we stop there for today?